Hello everybody and welcome back to SFF180. It is Monday, February the 25th, and time once again for the mailbag. I hope you guys have all had a great week and a great weekend. Mine's been pretty decent. The weather down here is actually really nice. All you poor folks around the country getting sheets of rain and snow and all of that. It's rather pretty outside today down where I am. So I don't know though, might not last, so I'm enjoying it while I can. This week, like I said, it's been really good. It's been productive. I'm finally getting going on producing some of these reviews for some of the Black History Month reading that I've been doing. Been a lot of good reading this month. New review going up first thing in the morning, and then later on in the week I will also be reviewing The Raven Tower. Now that's obviously not a Black History Month title, but I did want to go ahead and get that review out and done, so maybe Wednesday, Thursday on that one. But the review going up first thing in the morning, it's pretty interesting. It's for a new novel, a debut novel, first-time novelist. You know, this might be one that will fly under the radar unless some of the buzz gets going about it between now and summer when it comes out. So be here to check that review out because I think this is, it's interesting and one worth attention. Otherwise, I have no real announcements except to say the read-alongs in March for the BookTube SFF Awards will start, so be sure and check out the Goodreads group for the BookTube SFF Awards to keep up with that, if you want to keep up with that. And, oh, I finally got decent internet in this frickin' house and in this office. Like, really, really, really fast. Very fast. Like, exponentially faster than the crap I was getting from AT&T Uverse, I swear. So, very happy to see the back of them. Yes. Okay, without further ado, we have a modest, sort of average-sized haul this week, maybe like a, 7-ish package or something. So without further ado, let's get into them and see what we have. And this first one comes in from Tor. Now, this is interesting and one that I am very happy to have received. This is a book by Andrew Bannister called Creation Machine. And this comes out from Tor on March the 5th. And in point of fact, this is one that has actually been out in the UK, I think, for a year, maybe more, over a year. So we're finally getting this one here in the States, courtesy of Tor. And it says, this is an adventurous space opera, which introduces a vast artificial galaxy called the Spin, where a rebellion has just been crushed. Viklan Haas is eliminating all remnants of the opposition, starting with his daughter. But Fleer Haas has had time to plan her next move from exile to the very frontiers of a new war. For hundreds of millions of years, the planets and stars of the Spin have been the only testament to the godlike engineers that created them. Now, beneath the surface of a ruined planet, one of their machines has been found. Okay, then. And this is the first book in a trilogy, The Creation Machine, so galaxy-spanning space opera, for those of you who've been hungering for that. March the 5th from Tor. And this one says Macmillan, so probably more Tor stuff. Let's see. I wasn't expecting to get this one quite yet, but here it is. This is the arc for Joe Walton's Lent. This is a historical fantasy that comes out on May the 28th from Tor Books. And as I recall, this was on my anticipated fantasy list. If you've watched that video, my anticipated fantasies for 2019. And it is based on an actual historical character. A monk, I believe, or a clergyman who was responsible back in the day, I think like 14th century or something like that, for the bonfire of the vanities, where he did things like they burned, books and cosmetics and nice clothing and the worldly goods that supposedly took people's attention away from the Lord, as it were. Lent is a story that speculates that Girolamo Savonarola was his name, probably had, some more sinister supernatural ties. It says, young Girolamo's life is a series of miracles. It's a miracle he can see demons plain as day. Usually that's, insanity of some sort, but anyway. And also that he can cast them out with the force of his will. It's a miracle that whenever Girolamo preaches, crowds swoon. It's a miracle that, despite the Pope's determination to bring young Girolamo to heel, he's still on the loose, and now running Florence in all but name. That's only the beginning, because Girolamo Savonarola is not who or what he thinks he is. A Faustian bargain of some sort has been struck, apparently. But looks good. I like me some historical fantasy, and this is out in hardcover from Tor on May the 28th. Let me know in the comments. And next up is another arc from Tor, and I am delirious with joy to get this. This is one that I should have had on my anticipated science fiction list, and for whatever reason I just failed to include it. But this is a book called Waste Tide. It's a Chinese science fiction. The author is Chen Qufan, and this has been translated by Ken Liu. And this one comes out April the 30th from Tor. And it is described as follows. It's an eco-techno thriller, as it were. David Mitchell, author of Bone Clocks, he says, Chen Qufan is an astute observer, both of the present world and of the future that the next generation is in danger of inheriting. Okay. Anyway, what it says is, against the backdrop of a gritty near-future Chinese landscape, a dark futuristic virus is unleashed on Silicon Isle, the global capital for electronic waste recycling, and a war erupts between the rich and the poor, between ancient traditions and modern ambition, between humanity's past and its future. Well, they say that with this generational divide, with, the boomer generation setting in motion everything that is resulting in climate change and economic inequality and things like that, and unfortunately the millennials and Generation Z are going to inherit the effects of all of that, right? As the boomers die off and leave all the wreckage that they cause behind. Yeah, this appears to be a story that riffs on that theme, as it were. And so this comes out April the 30th, like I said, from Tor Books. I'm very, very interested in this. Okay, moving on. Here's a tiny little package from Random Penguin. And this is the latest book by Shannon McGuire in her encrypted urban fantasy series. It's called That Ain't Witchcraft. And, everyone is eagerly following the Wayward Children novelist from Tor.com Publishing, and a lot of people are excited for Middle Game, her new book from Tor.com coming out. And yet, she's been doing these urban fantasies for a while, and the encrypted series has quietly crept on to the Hugo ballot this year in the Best Series category that they have. So the newest one, I think this is the 8th one, That Ain't Witchcraft, is coming out as a mass market from Daw Books in March. So maybe it's time for Thomas to break down and check some of those out. All right then, here is what feels like a big old heavy hardcover book from Random Penguin. All right, and this is pretty much what I was expecting it to be. This is the finished copy in hardcover of The Women's War, debut novel by Jenna Glass, coming out from Del Rey on March the 5th. And this is described as a feminist fantasy epic in which these women living in a patriarchal society, as it were, discover a spell that gives them the ability to control their own fertility. And this completely, upturns the apple cart on how their society is run, as it were. It basically gives women in the society bargaining power that they've never had before. And so let's see. When a nobleman's first duty is to produce a male heir, women are treated like possessions and bargaining chips. But as the after effects of a world-altering spell ripple out physically and culturally, women have a bargaining chip of their own. Two women in particular find themselves at the liberating crossroads of change. Alice is the widowed mother of 2 teenage children and the disinherited daughter of a king. Her existence has been carefully proscribed, but now she discovers a fierce talent not only for politics but also for magic, once deemed solely the domain of men. Meanwhile, in a neighboring kingdom, young Ellen finds herself unexpectedly on the throne after the sudden death of her grandfather the king, and everyone else who stood ahead of her in the line of succession. Conventional wisdom holds that she will marry quickly and then quietly surrender the throne to her new husband, but Ellen has other ideas. You bet she does. The tensions building in the 2 kingdoms grow abruptly worse than when a caravan of exiled women and their escort of disgraced soldiers stumbles upon a new source of magic in what was once uninhabitable desert. This new and revolutionary magic, which only women can wield, might tear down what is left of the patriarchy. The men who currently hold power will do anything to retain it. But what force in the world can stand against the courage and resolution of generations of women who have tasted freedom for the very first time? Now, there you have it. This looks to be quite a book, and it will be out in hardcover from Del Rey on March the 5th. All right, and here we have another Random Penguin title. All right, this is one for alternate history fans. This is a new book by S.M. Sterling, and it is called Theater of Spies. It's available May the 7th from Ace Books, and this is a sequel to a book of his that came out, I think, last year, year and a half ago, or something like that, called Black Chamber. And essentially, these are alternate histories, as I said, all about secret spy networks and things like this. And this one is set during the third term for Teddy Roosevelt in this particular alternate history, and it's set during right as World War I is breaking out. Okay then. And it goes like this. The Black Chamber, a secret spy network determined to keep America safe. After foiling a German plot to devastate America's coastal cities from Boston to Galveston, Luz and Ciara have earned a break, but before they can kick back in California, they discover a diabolical new weapon that could give the German Imperial Navy far too much control. Forced to go deep undercover and travel across a world at war, Luz and Ciara find themselves in Berlin, attempting to ferret out the project's secrets. German agents are close on their trail, eager to get revenge, and Luz and Ciara's false identities can't hold up forever. From knife and pistol duels on airships, to the horrors of the poison gas factories, to harrowing marine battles in the North Sea, the fight continues with the world as the prize. And so there you go. Theater of Spies. This sounds, again, I like historical settings, and this one sounds like it is full of globetrotting, very cinematic action. So this could be really good. But May the 7th, Theater of Spies, a sequel to Black Chamber. I need to dig my Arc of Black Chamber off the shelf and check it out, I think. And getting towards the bottom of the stack, this is another one from, looks like Tor. This is nice to see. This is the Revenant Express, and it's by George Mann. And this is the 5th volume in a steampunk, Victorian steampunk investigator series called the Newberry and Hobbs series. And now I have actually read the first one of these years ago. It's called The Affinity Bridge. And I had a good time with it. It was entertaining. It was quite colorful. I think what happened very shortly after that was it was very similar to urban fantasy and the paranormal investigation genre. Started kind of glutting the shelves, right? And there was just lots of the stuff, and so I kind of lost interest. But I kind of like to come back to these and read the rest of them. This is the 5th one. This is a pretty short book. It's not even like 250 pages long. And each one apparently can be read as a standalone in this series. So there's that, right? But it just says you have Maurice Newberry racing against time and across Europe to fetch a clockwork heart for his trusty assistant Veronica Hobbs. All right? And this one came out on February the 12th in hardcover from Tor. And the final package here is another one from Random Penguin. And we wrap up this week with something that a lot of folks have been looking forward to. This is The True Queen. It's by Zen Cho, and it is a long-awaited sequel. I think the last one came out in 2015 to her first book, Sorcerer to the Crown. And this is set during an alternate Regency England. When sisters Muna and Sakti wake up on the peaceful beach of the island of Jandabaik, they can't remember anything except that they are bound as only sisters can be. They have been cursed by an unknown enchanter, and slowly Sakti starts to fade away. The only hope of saving her is to go to distant Britain, where the Sorceress Royal has established an academy to train women in magic. If Muna is to save her sister, she must learn to navigate high society and trick the English magicians into believing she is a magical prodigy. As she's drawn into their intrigues, she must uncover the secrets of her past and journey into a world with more magic than she had ever dreamed. All right then, The True Queen, March trade paperback from Ace Books. And that's it. That's what we've got for the mailbag this week. You guys know the drill. Light up those comments. Let me know which of these looks most interesting and exciting to you, and which you would like to see me prioritize for review. Otherwise, if you enjoyed watching, please hit that like button, share the video far and wide with all of your SFF reading friends, and above all, please subscribe. That is how the channel grows. You can also support the channel at my TeePublic store and at my Patreon, where recruits into Wink's Army get little perks like getting to see some of these videos early. I want to thank all of those folks for their additional support. It means a great deal and is very, very helpful. I want to thank all of you guys for being the best viewers in all of BookTube. And until I see all of you next time, happy reading.